Alright, this is the 6C exercise, an I-alarm. This is the dimensions for it. This PDF will be found in your Canvas exercises. If you look here in 6B, the first one on the list, and I don't know if my cursor's showing up, but I'm trying to highlight the first one. That's where we pull all our dimensions from. And then what we're going to do is open up this one, which I think I have a copy already. This is what it'll look like on your AutoCAD when it's all said and done. That's our goal. And this is the startup model. And the hint that was given was to create the circles first. Let's go. I think my colors are set up here. Let's create some circles. Not here. Let's get that back. So, first circle I'm going to create. Let's create two circles on the far right end. So we got 1.5" diameter and 3/4 inch diameter. So that means we're going to go to activate visible and create a circle diameter type. Right at that point, point's highlighted, and we'll type in 0.75. Don't be afraid to zoom up and get closer to these. Let's create one more circle on this point, and the next one was 1.5" diameter. Now we'll create the circles on this end, and this time they gave us radiuses, 0.38, and that really is 0.375 radius. And this is 0.75 radius. So what we can do here, create that point, 0.75, or create the circle off this point. That's 0.375, which is 3/8. And then I'm going to create a construction line, actually a center line, using orthogonal projection. And we're going to create a line from here, and then I want to go up whatever distance represents the center of the next hole, and that looks like 1.25. So we'll go 1.25 back to visible lines, using that endpoint. And go out 0.75 again, and another circle at that endpoint, 0.375. Now what I'm going to do is change my settings to turn this perpendicular off. I'm going to turn, if I had the center on and the tangency on, a lot of times I still have trouble getting that line to grab the tangent because it goes right for the center. So if you have that problem, go to settings. So then there's your settings for your object snaps. Turn that center mode off, and that should make it easier to find those tangents. So see if I have any better luck here using line, and then hopefully it just automatically snaps to the tangent points with the orthographic or orthogonal projection on, just like that one. Escape, enter, go from here to here. escape, enter, enter to reactivate the next line, escape, enter, and we'll do this line over here, escape. Now it's all about the trim command, so I'll hit trim, and let's use this and this as our fences, and we want to remove this. Trim, let's try this again. This and this is my fence, enter, try and remove this. Sometimes it doesn't work that great. Under trim, this one and this one, enter. See if I can select anywhere. We'll keep that. So it's not able to trim. Let's try this. Go trim, enter, and just remove these parts out. Same thing here. Hit escape. Select on this, delete. Select on this, and delete. And you see we have either end started up. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to use some construction lines. And your construction lines should be dark blue for printing purposes. On our screen, we have them green for visibility reasons. So this line that goes to the center of the hole on the top is a distance of 5.5 inches all the way to the far right one minus the distance 3.4. So if I take the bottom dimension 5.5 and subtract it from 3.4, that gives me 1.1. And that gives me the center line from the left vertical side to the right, or to the center of the middle hole. So we're going to go to offset, go to through, select this line, and we're going to, oh, we forgot to give it a distance. 1.1 distance. And I don't think we did that right. Let's go through. Hit enter for through, and my distance is 1.1 inches. Except that I grabbed that wrong line. All right, let's try this again. What we're going to do is offset the center line in the slot 1.1 inches to the right. So offset, enter, key in 1.1 for distance, select the line. Oh, sorry, key in 1.1 now. Well, it looks like I need to do math better. 5.5 minus 3.4 is 2.1. So let's delete that. All right, so I miscalculated again. 5.5 minus 3.4 is going to be 2.1. So we're going to do an offset through from this line 2.1. And even though I had construction on, it uses the same line font types and graphic types as the line you're offsetting. So I can select this line here, and we'll make it construction. Hopefully that's easier to see. Now the next line, I'm just going to create an arbitrary line using my ortho. I can grab this point and just shoot it over. I know that that line is horizontal, and I need another line from that line, 1.25, to get to the center of the hole in the top. So we'll go to line, offset, enter, select this line, and come up 1.25. I need the next circle to be at the intersection of this line and this line here. So under circle, we know it's a 1/2 inch circle. I'm going to create on the inside. So I'm going to use circle diameter, shift, right click, and use the apparent intersection. That will allow me to pick this line here and find this line. Wherever I touch this line, it finds the intersection of those two lines. Even though they're not touching, it finds the extended lines intersections. So that's your apparent intersection. And then we'll go with a 1/2 inch radius, or diameter. That looks a little small. Well, I guess that looks right. So the only problem here is this needs to be visible. And we're going to create another circle. And you know what I would do for this case? Let's go back to settings. And I'm going to turn center back on. Really, a good way to practice this is the next circle you see would be a 0.56. By the way, I know that's a 0.5625. Okay, so that's 0.5625, 9/16. We'll go ahead and use circle radius. When I get my cursor on the edge of that circle, it finds the center. I want to make sure that these two circles share the same center point. So I select on that. Let's change this to visible. And that value given again is 5625. All right, so now we got our circles in there. Now comes the tricky part. It's actually not too tricky, but what I would do is the 6-inch radius along the top. You notice that there's a line, a thin line between the two arcs that's kind of connecting them, but there's a gap between them, referencing an extension line, saying that those two lines or those two curves are on the same curve. They're collinear to each other, meaning that they're both 6-inch radiuses. And they appear to also be tangent to the tops of the arcs on the right and the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and go to tangent radius, because I know two tangent points and the radius. I know that this curve comes over here, starts about here, and notice I'm going in this direction because that's counterclockwise. All circles are created counterclockwise on the CAD systems, so I create my circles the same way so they blend together. I'll select this as my next tangent, come over towards where I think the center is, and I'll key in a 6-inch radius. Now I can go ahead and create another line. It's going to want to snap tangent, so I'm going to go shift right click, or it was trying to snap to the center, so I'm going to force it to go tangent, grab that end, and I want to make sure that this is going straight up and down. And you can tell by the graphics in the line if you're straight up and down or not. So I'll go ahead and click this with this straight up and down and hit escape. And there is a radius between those lines of 0.38, and I know that that really means to be 0.375. So we'll do a fillet, key in R for radius, and a value of 375. Select the portions of the curve you want to keep. So I'm going to select the bottom curve, going up to this curve here. Notice that I don't pick below that curve down here. I want to pick over the top of where that curve is. I want to pick the elements it's actually going to keep. You'll find it has less problems when I'm doing that. Okay, let's do another fillet from here down to here. Okay. Let's try trim, enter, trim, and we'll use this and this curve is my fence, the two outside curves. Enter that, and do I pick this curve? Or maybe I pick this curve. Sometimes I have trouble getting that to work. Let's go trim. Try that again. Fence, fence, enter. Grab this curve. Didn't trim for me. It's okay. Let's go back to trim, enter. Good old faithful trim command here. Remove that. Remove this. Move this one. Move this. Okay. And that gets us the top portion of this. All right. So the idle arm's coming together. Now my next problem. I have this one here. I know it's tangent to this. And it looks to be tangent to this one at 4.2 inches. So do the 4.2 inch radius. Let's see what we get. Circle tangent radius. See tangent and tangent at 4.2. Now, the tricky part is trying to find the center point. This comes back to using a compass. Let's see, I don't think you guys can see what I'm pointing at, though. I'm pointing at the radius that would be down in here, the center point here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a construction curve. And that construction circle is going to be a radius. Starts at the same center. It's going to come out, looking at this picture, comes out 1 inch plus the 0.75. Where I'm getting at is the outside circle is 1.5 diameter, meaning 0.75 radius. So from the center to the 1 inch radius is 0.75. Add an additional inch and I get 1.75. So a circle center from the same center as the circles on the right, intersecting a line that goes parallel 1.25 inches in the horizontal direction down from the center. We'll find that intersection radius. So from here I go out 1.25. No, 1.75. Again, circle, same center, 1.75. And offset, enter for through. Select the line, come down 1.25. I want to do a circle radius with an apparent intersection of where this circle and this line intersect. Oh, shoot, wrong side though. Let's try that again. Apparent intersection. This didn't have a circle active. Apparent intersection from this line over to this circle. Make that visible. And do 1 inch. That's where that circle center is supposed to be. So you see this circle here, it appears to be off. So made an assumption that this was coming in tangent here and here, but really what I needed was this circle here to be created try to create a circle tangent to this one and to this one. So I'm going to make this phantom so you can see the old versus where I'm going to put in my new one. We'll do another tangent, and we're going to go tangent right about here, I think. Tangent right about down here at 4.2. You see the difference in my arc? A slight difference, but nonetheless a difference. So we can now go to trim, enter, and I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. Escape. This is gone. This circle out here is, whoops, I got to trim that. Trim, enter, pick this, trim, enter, get rid of that section, escape, get rid of this circle. Okay, and see how that's the difference there from what I was trying before. So we'll go ahead and delete this one out because it's not what I intended. We can turn our construction layer off. And that's what the part should look like when it's done. In reality, we should be going over here and putting in our cross-section lines and so forth. Okay? And that concludes the exercise for 6B.